you're running for, we also have 2 chambers, because I like to keep things stupid because I'm new and I'm getting old. But
our state government is designed almost as a shadow of our federal government. We have an executive, which in our case is the governor. He is unfortunately termed out, just like the president, so we're going to have a change there. We have a Senate,
which is considered the upper chamber.
Now the difference there between the U.S. senators, the federal senators, and the state senators, the federal guys serve 6 years. The state serves 4.
Okay.
But the House serves 2, and
just like the House.
We serve 2.
Okay.
So it's very, very similar in terms of the things that make it very different. The Senate becomes it is the upper house, and it becomes almost a group of kings of their countries, because, and that was the way it was meant originally in the Constitution. The senators were appointed by the state government.
Correct. Was it the 17th Amendment?
Yeah, one of them.
16th or 17th? Yeah, because a lot of the people I hang out with are very disappointed that
changed.
Yeah.
And what it did change, it gave all the representation to the people, which sounds great, but there's no representation to the state government. We wouldn't have some of the federal issues now if those representatives were...
Right, because we could yell at them and recall them.
Right.
Because
the state wouldn't give up power.
And the state would say, you're not doing a good job for our state, so come on home.
Right, right. And that's not the case now, and it's been a long time that change is made. So our senators are directly elected from the people.
And I think other than maybe Pence, or no senators, Bai would have been recalled, hopefully, and even Lugar, I'm nonpartisan on that one.
I can't argue with you, though.
They both have crazy
Sometimes
votes.
It seems like Obama likes Lugar more than we do. So
yeah. and I hate that, because that's giving conservatives a bad name.
But here's the problem. I don't know that I could support anybody that's been there as long as he has.
Lugar?
Yeah. The man.
I agree. The founders did not believe this should be a career.
He is personally one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. He is truly congenial.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to meet him. I've tried and tried, but unfortunately,
Smart.
he would not come to Fort Wayne to meet us.
He's an intelligent man, but I don't care who you are. If John Olinger is the greatest senator in American history, there's still somebody out there that can do just as good a job as I could, and probably has fresh perspective. So when we see a Robert Byrd die after getting elected during the Eisenhower administration, or on the Republican side, Strom Thurmond, 98 years old, still in the Senate, Ted Kennedy, who they have his name engraved in the seat as Ted Kennedy's seat. It is not, I'm not a big Scott Brown fan, but the greatest line in Scott Brown's campaign is, it's not Ted Kennedy's seat, it's the people's seat.
Right, absolutely.
And we forget that. And you know, I'm not running for Randy Bohr's seat. I'm running for the people of the 81st District seat.
Okay, now let's tell where the 81st District is.
84th, I'm sorry.
84th.
I'm not running against Win Moses, I'm running...
Okay, so the 84th District encompasses what?
Roughly, and when you start looking at the House district seats, it looks like the state was having a real grand party when they did the...
An 8-year-old playing with crayons?
Yeah, my 8-year-old was drawing an inside line. They did. It roughly goes Lake Avenue,
okay,
to say 469 around to maybe Clinton Street.
Okay, Lake Avenue, but not as far as New Haven. You're just talking about back in...
You know, it cuts through the north side of Fort Wayne.
Okay.
And then comes clear up by, you know, the Walmart is out on...
37.
37.
Yeah.
It comes up around 469 to the north side, over past Cherry Hill, clear over to...
Clinton out by Coliseum.
Clinton and... Yeah, up north of Coliseum, clear up to roughly... I don't know if that's St. Joe Center Road anymore or Washington Center Road.
Well, I always like to give websites. Do you have a website if people want to like contact you to find out if they're in your district?
Right now I have a Facebook page. We'll have a website here after the caucus, because it's really only, this is a 53-person race.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
So we've concentrated my efforts in actually talking, which I talked to your mom, I think, for an hour and a half, just chatting.
My mother is a precinct committee man.
And I do that every night, and it's 53 people, so it's very easy. But I do have a Facebook page. It's Olinger84.
Olinger 84.
It doesn't have the district map on it. You can find a district map by going
to Indiana.gov and type it in. I know there's
84. Yeah, I'm sorry. You probably know the address. It's the Indiana State of Indiana, or the Allen County Election Board also has it.
so they can find out.
Find it.
But now we
If
decided
you wanna know who
it's
you're-
not all the voters. So you may live in his district and think, okay, I'm going to get the chance. But this is the same as what just happened. This is going to
Right.
be...
It's a small version of the Mark Sauter stuff.
Right, so Boyer is quitting? Is he-
Boyer. Randy Boyer quit.
Quit. Was he a Democrat or a Republican?
He was a Republican. Been on there 9 years.
Okay.
Good man. Just basically got a job offer he couldn't refuse.
Okay.
There's a downside to being an Indiana state rep. We don't want to make what the feds make. You know.
I'm actually happy because if people don't know, Indiana's pretty good on our state because our politicians down at the State House are part-time.
Right.
Which is great because they pass so many laws in the small time. If they had more time.
Right. Oh yeah. It would be a wonderful world. We wouldn't have 2,000-page bills going through the Senate and House if they were there for us.
Oh yeah, I think federal government should be only about 2 weeks out of the year for the big ones,
Well,
borders,
yeah.
few extra things, foreign policy, we could
Yep.
talk, but everything else, go back to the state.
Yeah, and you know, so much of the foreign policy is dictated by the administration anyway. You know.
Well,
So,
I
when you
might
get the
disagree
treaty
with
votes-
you. The last few presidents, no matter which side of the aisle have said, I don't think they've changed much about foreign policy, they just moved the troops a little bit.
That's true.
They haven't changed
You can
much.
go back, oh, well, certainly the last two presidents.
Certainly the last
Foreign policy hasn't changed much at all. The Congress doesn't have much to do with it. Other than funding.
Constitutionally, they're supposed to declare war, so
They
they
did.
hold the purse strings.
From every legal aspect.
To me, they have allowed
When
the
George
president.
Bush had Congress vote, to me, that meant the declaration of war. The problem is there's no method in the Constitution that says how to declare war.
No, but the words either would be nice.
The words
so that we
declare
all
war
can
would
be
be
behind it and we know what we're doing.
Yeah, I don't
have no problem
disagree.
with-
You know, from a legal standpoint, I think we did declare war when the president stands up and asks to bomb somebody, asks the Congress permission.
Well, I know that
to
Ron
blow-
Paul actually put a bill in to
Yes, he
declare
did.
war. He did vote against it because he didn't even want the war.
Right.
But they wouldn't even vote for their own war.
I
That's a
personally
little
don't think we
disgusting.
should commit troops unless there's a declaration of war. No, I should say commit general troops. I think there's always a situation where you're going to use special forces.
Right, but if we're going to go to war with another country
Right.
and occupy it, there should be we should all be on the same page.
You think of situations like, and you never want to tie the hands of the president either. You always want to have him have the option of carrying a big stick. But that
I
big stick-
disagree. I want his hands tied because
don't.
they go so far.
I don't, because if his hands are tied, they'll be tied when they come get us and they come attack us. And that's what scares me. Things like, you look at, I don't know if you're old enough for this one,
Never supposed to ask a woman or anything.
no, I didn't. The Israelis attack on Entebbe Air Base in Uganda in the 70s.
No, I was not. Aware.
Militant Islamists, which were backed by the president of Uganda, Idi Amin, took over an air base with Jewish hostages, and with the intention of killing them. And in the middle of the night, poof, the Israeli army showed up and started screaming in Hebrew, "Get down!" Which, of course, the only people who understood what they were screaming were the Jews. They got down and they killed the terrorists that were holding them hostage, and I think there was a few Israeli Jewish casualties. But the point is, we've had similar missions that you've never heard of, that I've never heard of, where hostage rescues our interests are
And
being
I'm not,
protected
there is
by
ways
military
around
action.
constitutionally.
Right,
Like,
there
I don't
is.
want to get too far, but like even we talked about mark and reprisal. That's actually in the Constitution.
Absolutely.
You can send in small contingents to do their
And
business.
that's what they did. In fact, if you look at the Marine hymn, from the shores of Montezuma to the halls of Tripoli, the first real action of the Marine Corps was attack on militant Islam. And it was militant Islamic pirates in the Mediterranean that were harassing European ships while we started getting U.S. ships. And Jefferson himself went over to negotiate. While he was negotiating, the Marines went in and took them out. And Europe was a little on edge because here's this little American nobody that just took out their biggest problem for trade. And
See, that's my problem with our foreign policy now is we're not good at being the little American.
we're not,
nobody.
and we're not the underdog anymore. So when we do march in, it's pretty
It's pretty
substantial.
powerful, yes.
The problem is we've never, once we're this big, once we're the superpower, it's really two things. Once we're this big and once we're the superpower, it's hard to be small and light. And when you look at it,
It's hard to give up power too.
it's always
People are very
nobody gives up power. The only time people ever give up power is by force. Political action is force. It's friendly force. Whether you're voted out of office in this country, that's a use of force in the Machiavellian sense. So that, I mean, it's the major reason for the failure of communism. If you look at communism, the theory is all this wonderful state's going to take care of everybody's needs, and the state will just wither away, according to Marx. Well, that isn't going to happen. What Marx never considered is, hey, you know, the guys in charge, they aren't giving up power.
Right.
They aren't going to wither away. They're only going to go stronger and hold dominion over people, and the people become slaves.